What's up, everybody? It was a heated debate on the YouTube channel Comedy Hype between comedian Yamanika Sanders and comedian Pierre. They had a heated debate over the Meg the Stallion and Tory Lanez court case and trial and everything. They had a heated debate over that, and it's so much to unpack. But I only want to focus on one small part of this, something that Yamanika Sanders said that I have to respond to. I'm going to play the clip of that, and then we're going to get right into it. Let's go.
It is to illuminate a point. You know, I've been in a situation where I was being attacked by a Black man, and the situation turned quite violent. And when it was asked upon me why I didn't call the police or why I didn't get the police involved, the first thing that ran through my mind is that this man was at such a heightened fever pitch in his aggression towards me and his demeanor that I instantly thought, if I call the police and the police show up and see him as a Black man at this level of anger and violence, that he would be killed. We don't take in consideration how much consideration Black women take when they're in violent situations, especially with Black men, to not only think about how they're going to protect themselves, but also how they're going to protect the man that is at that time their attacker or their aggressor. So I think there should be a lot more consideration about the mental state of a Black woman whenever she's in a violent situation with a Black man.
Now, that is the part that I want to respond to, because when you're a Black man who have actually seen it behind the curtains, who've been in the belly of that beast, you know it's a different story. You know it comes out different than how she depicted it, where Black women are these benevolent victims who care about protecting the man who's trying to cause them harm. They're worried about his protection and safety. But when you've seen this behind the curtains, she gave a personal story. I'm going to give a personal story that I'm going to switch around a few things to protect the guilty, but it's a personal story nonetheless, things that I've seen. I know of a Black woman who didn't hesitate to call the police on a Black man that was attacking her in fear of that they would come in locked and loaded. So she wanted to protect the attacker. No, this was more of a situation where a lie was told, where the person wasn't aggressively attacking. The person was an ex who was arguing with the current boyfriend. And then she got on the phone and she called the police and said that they were being attacked by an ex. And she said this ex had a gun, of which the ex didn't have a gun. But she told the police that the ex had a gun to try to get them there faster and try to get them there to come more locked and loaded and ready to go. This same individual also in a similar scenario with the person who was that current boyfriend much later after they were broke up. She was trying to gain access into his house, a house that she never lived in, and was trying to barge into the door. The story is going somewhere, so just follow me here. She was trying to barge into the door. He pushed her so she couldn't get in. That's what he did. He pushed her so she couldn't get in, and then he created enough space so he can close the door. Well, guess what? Because he pushed her to stop her from barging into his house, she called the police. And guess what? Now he was the Black man with the gun. Another lie that she told to get the police to show up and be a little more locked and loaded and ready to go. Now, if you're already saying to yourself, hey, that story is bad, well, it gets worse. It gets worse because the same particular Black woman is also somebody who spoke on stage at a Black Lives Matter event. Events that are based on the police, unlawful killing of Black men. That's what those events are based on. So this same woman who was facilitating and engineering that type of a situation also got her fist in the air at a Black Lives Matter rally. So forgive me, when I hear Yamaka talking about how black women are these benevolent protectors of their attackers, when I've seen with my own eyes situations and scenarios where they have literally, and I'm not even trying to say they in some broad way, like it's some universal thing that they all do. But I mean, I'm not trying to say it like it's some universal thing that they all do. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not going full gangster with this. I'm just saying that when you've seen it behind the curtain, when you've seen some of them behind the curtain, when you've seen them with the mask off, this whole benevolent protector of the attacker scenario that she's trying to create, it falls by the wayside. It falls by the wayside when you know of stories of women in child custody situations where they will know when they're losing ground and losing leverage, they will try to say that the dad touched the kids and stuff like that. So but they're they're trying to protect their attacker. Like, really? So I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I put it in the category of yes, it probably happens. Yes, it probably happens. There's probably some women who have been in a situation with a man that she cared about who lost it, and she probably didn't want to call the police. But we're not going to act like that's the only narrative. We're not going to act like that's the only thing that happens out there. And seeing as this is a story that has developed, because it started with the whole Meg the Stallion thing, this is a story that has developed where it's kind of being exposed that a woman did actually lie. I think my personal stories of people that I know probably carries more weight than her benevolent protector of the attacker story. I think the story that I'm talking about happens more. The benevolent protector of the attacker story is proven to be a lie in the Meg the Stallion Tory Lanez case. And the stories that I personally have seen correlate more with the Meg the Stallion and Tory Lanez case. That's the only part of that I wanted to pick apart right now. I probably will do a whole live show on that entire conversation that they had. So tune in and stay tuned. Or let me know in the chat room if you want me to do a full live show breakdown of this whole conversation that what's their name? Comedian Yamaka Sanders and comedian Pierre had on Comedy Hype News, had a heated debate over there. And with that said, we out of here. Peace. We go.